They laughed when I told them I was starting my own company. They called me a failure, a disappointment, even a burden. But the day my face showed up on national news, the laughter stopped. And suddenly, the same family who mocked me wanted to own me. My name's Maya Carter. And for most of my life, I've been the family disappointment. That's not me being dramatic. That's an actual quote. My mother once said it, smiling sweetly across the Thanksgiving table, right after asking me to pass the cranberry sauce. Everyone laughed. Even my dad. And I just sat there pretending it didn't sting, because that's what I'd been doing my whole life. Pretending. In my family, success wasn't about happiness or hard work. It was about appearances. My mother, Eleanor Carter, built her life like an Instagram feed. Perfect lighting, perfect family, perfect lies. My father, David, ran a luxury real estate firm, but Mom was the real star. And my older sister, Vanessa, she was the kind of woman magazines write glowing profiles about. Perfect hair, perfect job. Perfect fiancé me, I was the artsy one, which in my mother's language meant unemployed dreamer. When Vanessa graduated college, she got a champagne party and a brand new Audi. When I graduated, I got a framed quote that said, "Follow your dreams," and a used Corolla. After college, while Vanessa joined my father's company, I started building something small, a software tool for boutique owners to track their sales and customer data. I called it Thread Logic. It started as a side project, something to prove, not to the world, but to myself, that I wasn't just the family embarrassment. I worked nights. I freelanced during the day to afford rent. There were months I lived off ramen and vending machine coffee. I didn't tell my family a thing. Not because I wanted to hide it, but because I knew what would happen. They'd either laugh or worse, pretend to care while waiting for it to fail. So I stayed silent. And in that silence, I built. A year later, I got a call from my mom. "Thanksgiving's at the country club this year," she said cheerfully. "Vanessa's bringing her fiancé. You should come. Everyone's excited to see you." Everyone, right. Part of me wanted to decline. But another part, the hopeful, stupid part, and wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, things would be different this time. So I said yes. When I arrived, the place looked like something out of a lifestyle magazine. Crystal glasses, linen tablecloths, perfectly placed candles. Vanessa spotted me first. "Well, look who finally made it," she said, smirking. Our elusive little tech genius, I forced a smile. "Hey, Vanessa," she air-kissed me, that fake, cold greeting rich people use when they don't want to smudge their makeup. We sat down, and the performance began. Dad asking Vanessa about her latest property deal. Mom bragging about Vanessa's wedding plans. Laughter that sounded rehearsed, and then the spotlight turned to me. "So, Maya," Mom said sweetly, "what are you doing these days?" "I'm working on a few tech projects," I replied. "Tech projects," she repeated, like she was tasting something sour. "So, no real job yet?" Vanessa chuckled. "Mom, she's an entrepreneur. That's what people call it now when they're still figuring things out." Everyone laughed. I smiled politely, the same way you smile when you're bleeding inside but don't want to show it. Mom patted my hand. "Well, not everyone's meant for the corporate world, dear." I said nothing. Just stared at my plate, then Vanessa raised her glass. "To family," she said. "And to my little sister, Maya. May she find her path someday." Laughter again. Except this time, I laughed too, because 15 minutes later, everything changed. The flat-screen TV above the bar flickered. And suddenly, there it was. Breaking business news. Local startup Thread Logic acquired for $38 million. And under that headline, my face, my name. The table went silent. Forks froze midair. Mom's smile collapsed. Dad looked like he'd swallowed his tongue. And Vanessa's face, oh, that was priceless. She blinked at me. "Wait, that's your company?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "Guess I found my path." The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was perfect. The next morning, my phone blew up. Calls, texts, even emails from my parents and Vanessa. I ignored them all, until I got one from my father's assistant. "Your parents want to meet. Urgent." Against my better judgment, I went. They were waiting in Dad's office. Him behind his massive desk, Mom beside him. Vanessa perched on the edge like she owned the place. Dad gestured for me to sit. "Maya, this situation, you blindsided us by succeeding. I asked. He frowned. By not preparing us? We're a family, Maya. When one of us wins, we all win. People are asking why we didn't know you were behind this. It makes us look out of touch. That word again. Look. Mom leaned forward. We think it'd be best to merge your venture under the Carter brand. It'll show unity. We can handle the business side while you focus on creative work. Handle, I repeated. Vanessa smiled sweetly. Think of it as teamwork, sis. You keep your title. We take care of the rest. Equal partners? Equal? I asked. Dad nodded. 50-50 split. We'll manage the finances. I stared at them. These people who never believed in me and now suddenly trying to own me? I stood up. Thanks for the offer. But I'm good on my own. Dad's tone turned sharp. Don't be foolish, Maya. You're young. You don't know how to manage this kind of money. Maybe not, I said. But at least it's mine. And I walked out. I wish that was the end. But people like my mother, they don't give up control easily. A few days later, I got an alert from my bank. A request had been filed. Temporary family fiduciary. Oversight. Translation: my parents were trying to access my business accounts. They'd actually tried to take legal control of my company. Earnings. When I called my father, he didn't even deny it. You're misunderstanding, he said. We're just protecting your assets. From who? I asked. From me? He sighed. You're young. 40 million is a lot to handle. We're making sure it stays in the family. I froze. What do you mean the family's money? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. That's when I realized they didn't see me as part of the family. They saw me as an asset. A week later, I got a text from Vanessa. Let's do brunch. Just the two of us. Let's talk. I went. Not because I trusted her, but because I wanted to see what game she was playing. When I arrived, I realized it wasn't just us. My parents were there. And sitting beside them, a man in a suit I recognized from Dad's firm. A setup. Dad smiled tightly. Maya, we've thought about this. Our family image is at stake. Richard here can help us formalize a trust. You'll still be the face of Thread Logic, but Vanessa will handle finances. It's cleaner. Cleaner, I repeated slowly. Mom nodded. It's all about presentation, dear. You'll thank us later. Vanessa crossed her arms. It's just business, Maya. Don't make it personal. That was it. I stood up. You think you can steal what I built just because you're uncomfortable that I did it without you? Dad's eyes narrowed. Watch your tone. No, I said. For once, you watch yours. And I left. It didn't stop there. A few days later, fake, leaked emails appeared online, claiming I'd falsified data in my company's sale. False documents, fabricated charts, all made to look like I'd committed fraud. Within hours, I traced the IP address to my father's company network. They didn't just betray me. They tried to destroy me. When I confronted them, Dad didn't even flinch. You're emotional, he said. We're protecting the family's reputation. By slandering me? He shrugged. Sometimes perception matters more than truth. Vanessa smirked. Relax, Maya, no one's buying it anyway. I stared at her. Then why do it? She smiled. Because you needed a reminder you don't get to erase us. I took a step closer. You erased me years ago. And I walked out for the last time. A few days later, I got a package. No return address. Inside were printed emails, a thread between Vanessa and one of my business partners. We'd be willing to negotiate directly if Maya steps back. The Carter family would be a stronger face for Thread Logic. Vanessa Carter, my hands shook. They weren't just trying to steal my money. They wanted my name. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, the same one they once mocked me for living in, and I made a promise. If they wanted a war for my legacy, they'd get one. But not on their terms. On mine, I went public. Not with anger and with facts. I released every email, every document, every attempt they'd made to control or defame me. Within 24 hours, the story went viral. Not just tech founder makes millions, but betrayed by her own family, how Maya Carter took them down. Their company lost clients overnight. Vanessa's wedding was called off. Mom stopped showing her face at the club. And me? I didn't celebrate. I didn't post about it. I just went back to work. Because they had power built on image. But I had something stronger: truth, independence, and peace. And when people hear the name Carter now, they don't think of them anymore. They think of me. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more dramatic tales like this.